Hiya, and welcome to Royal Holloway's video about why you should consider going to university. My name's Amelia and I work for Royal Holloway's Schools and Colleges Liaison team. Our purpose is to support students in thinking about their options in the future. In this video, I'm going to look at all of the reasons to consider going to university. It isn't necessarily for everyone, but it's still important to be informed and know your options before you make any decisions. So to give you a brief introduction to Royal Holloway, we're a campus-based university in Egham in Surrey. We have over 250 different undergraduate courses. You can see a selection of all of our departments on the left-hand side. In the description of this video, I'll put a selection of links to find out more about us. We have a course finder, which will allow you to see all the courses that you may be interested in. We have lots of virtual tours and online open days going on. So I'll have all of those links in the description. So before we start talking about the benefits of university or higher education, it's worth defining exactly what that is. So if you're studying A-levels right now, or any qualification equivalent to A-levels, you'll be doing a level 3 qualification, and the government ranks lots of different qualifications on this scale in the UK. So anything that's above that, so level 4 onwards, counts as a higher education qualification. So goes all the way up to level 8. Level 8 is a PhD equivalent qualification, but like I said, anything beyond 4 is a university level qualification. There are over 50,000 HE courses available to study in the UK, and they can be lots of different levels, like I said, above level 4. So most people will be thinking about doing a level 6 qualification at university. So this is a bachelor's degree, normally 3 years or over, and you'll usually get a BA or a BSc or an LLB, which is a law degree, or a bachelor's of engineering. So they're all the different types of qualifications. BA stands for Bachelor of Arts, BSc stands for Bachelor of Science, and they're the kind of two most common degrees. But you might do a level 4 or level 5 qualification. So some people who are thinking about doing artistic subjects might do a foundation degree in their creative subject at an art school or creative university. There also are HNDs and HNCs, which are level 5 and 4 respectively, and they stand for High National Diploma and High National Certificate. They're all just different types of qualification. Quite often HNDs, HNCs will be apprenticeship qualifications. So if you decide to do an apprenticeship, you still might be studying a higher education, you'll just be doing it in a slightly different way, and you'll end up with a different qualification at the end of it. There are approximately 165 higher education institutions in the UK, so there are a lot of different institutions out there. There's a lot of choice, and you'll be studying in different ways at lots of different universities. So what can you study? So a lot of these subjects that are coming up now will be familiar to you. You may have studied them before in school, you might be studying them currently, or you might even be interested in studying them at university. But these are all subjects that are people are quite familiar with and probably aware that you can study at university. So things like art, business studies, chemistry, drama, etc. Most people know that you can study them at university. But university offers you the chance to specialise a lot more than you would otherwise be able to. So there are a lot of other subjects that you may not be aware of, or you may not be aware that you're able to study them at HE level. So things like archaeology, geology, liberal arts, specialist hair and makeup, puppetry, Arabic, etc. They are a lot more specific. But actually you're doing everything in a lot more depth because you'll be doing it for 3 to 5 years. So what I kind of want to get across to you from this is that it's really important that you do your research and find all of the courses that might be of interest to you, because there is a lot out there, and it's really important that you are aware of what's out there before you make a decision about whether or not to go to university. So we're going to do a little bit of a game. How this will work is I'm going to come up with a name of a degree, and I want you to think whether you believe it's a degree or not a degree. Baking and patisserie technology. That is a degree. There's lots of different examples of this, but you can find a degree in baking and patisserie management at University College Birmingham. BSc Viticulture and Enology, which is a winemaking degree. Do you think that's a real degree? It is a degree. You can do that at Plumpton College, so a winemaking degree. Harry Potter studies. It's not a degree, however, it is a module at Durham. So if you're studying BA in education, so you're studying education at the University of Durham, you can choose to do this as an optional module as part of your degree. So we've got a bit of a description here. So Harry Potter and the Age of Illusion, what it does is it examines Harry Potter in an educational context. So thinking about how that can influence education, how it can be utilised in education, and the influence on education. So that's kind of how it becomes an academic element of a degree. Surf Science and Technology, you can see there that this isn't a BSc or a BA, and this is a foundation degree, so that's indicated by the FDSC at the beginning. So again, this is one of those level 5 qualifications, so it's not a full bachelor's level 6 degree, but it is again HE qualification. That is a degree at the University of Plymouth. Viking and Old Norse Studies, BA. That is a degree at University College London. So it's a 4-year programme and you're studying the medieval and modern Scandinavian languages, Old Norse literature and medieval history. You go and study abroad in 3rd year and you choose a language to study one of those Scandinavian countries. BA Esports, that's a real degree at Staffordshire University. BA Football Studies, that's a degree at Solent University. David Bowie Studies. Once again, this isn't a degree, but it is a module in the School of English at the University of Leeds. So it's a module called Bowie Reading Writing. Contemporary Circus with Physical Theatre. That's a degree at Bath Spa University. BA Air Studies. Unfortunately not a degree, but The Forgetting of Air is a module in architecture at London Met. You can also consider doing joint honours because quite often courses will overlap or have similarities, so it makes sense to join them up. So for example, you might cover economics and politics and studying them in more detail separately will help you understand those courses better. And also joint honours or combination degrees are helpful if you want to specialise in particular areas. So if you want to work in the economic sector of politics, that example I just mentioned would be really helpful. Universities offer numerous joint honours degrees crossing a diverse range of combinations, so they give you the opportunity to study more than the subject you enjoy. Sometimes there are surprising combinations, so things like physics with philosophy is a course at Royal Holloway, things like computer science with management, again, is something that might be surprising, but it makes sense having that combination. So what are the actual benefits of university? We're going to have a look at all of them now and then go into them in more detail. So to pursue an interest in your subject is kind of the fundamental benefit of university. You may be wanting to go to raise your subject knowledge and skills, to become more employable, to be more successful in your career, to develop transferable skills, to network and meet employers, to become more confident, independent and resilient, to socialise and meet people. All of these are valid reasons to go to university, and some of them may have more weight for you and some of them may have less weight for you, and that's fine. Everyone has a slightly different rationale to go to university, but what we're going to do now is explore some of these reasons in more detail. So first of all, I want to talk about the academic benefits of going to university. So some will find that the main benefit of their degree is that they're able to devote their time to learning about and researching an area that they're interested in. And so I've got a quote here that says, knowledge is capable of being its own end, that any kind of knowledge is its own reward. So just in and of itself, going to university to find out more about your subject is a great reason to go to university, especially if you want to do research into an area, maybe further human knowledge in your subject. And just having 3 to 5 years to concentrate on just one thing, just that subject, is an opportunity that you will kind of only get at university. So having that time to dedicate to something you find really interesting or something you're passionate about is definitely a benefit of going to university. On a related note, knowledge is another big benefit of going to university. So an important reason to go to university is if you need to, for careers reasons or just personal reasons, raise your knowledge of your subject, and also developing skills that are specific to your subject. If you have specific subject knowledge, you often have a better chance of career progression. So I've got 2 examples here. Teaching is obviously, if you want to become a secondary school or FE teacher, you need to have a background in the subject that you are teaching. You can't just rely on, A-level maths to teach maths, GCSE or A-level. You need to have a background in that subject. So going to university is kind of crucial. And also practical medical courses, so nursing, dentistry, vet med, medicine, all of those subjects or all of those careers will need a degree, or often will need a degree to be able to access them, because you need to have the knowledge of the human body or the animal body in the case of vet med to be able to effectively do that job. So you have to have those skills and that knowledge to be able to access that job. Career benefits are also a big part of going to university. So researchers have found that if you have gone to university, you've got a degree or you're a graduate, you're more likely to be employed when compared to those with just A levels or BTECs or other level 3 qualifications. So an undergraduate degree increases the probability of being employed by 3.3%. Another study found that 86% of 18 to 30-year-old graduates were employed, compared with about 60% of 18 to 30-year-olds with a level 3 qualification. One thing to be aware of is that some degrees will be more employable than others. So have a look at things like skills shortages if you're undecided. This is a list of all of the kind of key skill shortages that the government would like to have more people with those skills. So you can see some of the relevant courses on the right hand side, but things like engineering, teaching, medical professionals, programmers, software developers, IT specialists, all of these are current skill shortages, and so that means that having a degree in those subjects is a real advantage in the working world. There is still evidence to suggest that university graduates earn more on average than those without a degree. This is from a piece of research published a few years ago, which looked at graduates from Cambridge, which is the red line, Warwick, which is the orange line, Southampton, which is the pink line, and all university graduates, so anyone who's graduated from university, from 1999, and it compared their earnings in 2012 to those who do not have a degree, which is the grey line. So you can see that on average, people will be earning more if they are a university graduate. And again, we don't want to dwell too much time on this, but here's another study that estimated a lifetime premium for university graduates. So that's the kind of amount extra they earn over their lifetime as a result of having gone to university. And what they found is that the expansion of higher education, quite often that's seen as a disadvantage, and that everyone will have a degree and there's no sort of advantage to going to university, but they actually found that there was no real difference associated with that expansion. So actually the graduate premium still exists despite more people going to university. Which is what I've got here. So it's worth noting that the graduate premium does differ depending on the subject. With your degree, you're offered the knowledge and understanding that will help you enter a career. So you are surrounded by experts and students who could become useful contacts for looking for jobs after graduation. Most universities will have excellent careers services, which are there to help you in various ways. So they might have events, mock interviews, they'll be checking CVs, they post job listings, and they might do other kind of like work experience opportunities. But also you may just meet people who you'll work with in the future. university is a place where there are lots of networking benefits. University offers the opportunity to develop lots of transferable skills as well. So I mentioned before that some courses will allow you to develop skills that are, related to the actual job. So if you're a nurse, learning practical medical skills or how to read a chart or something to do specifically with the job will be something that they learn at university. But all of the transferable skills that you can see now will be relevant to most jobs, and university gives you examples of these transferable skills that you can use when applying for graduate jobs. Transferable skills are really important, and graduates are actually valued by employers for a number of reasons. So things like graduates are more likely to challenge how things are done, come at things from a different perspective. They will have developed critical thinking skills. University is all about being independent, so graduates will use their initiative more, act without waiting for instruction. Problem solving and flexibility is another thing that graduates are more likely to have. And they assimilate knowledge quickly, so they are used to learning things and being able to put that learning into action, and bringing new ideas and energy. And that's from another piece of research about graduates and getting jobs. There's also another piece of research that shows graduates are more likely to start their own business or engage in entrepreneurial activity. So they have more of an aptitude to start their own businesses. So if you are interested in doing that in the future, university can offer you an opportunity to start your own business. And graduates, when they do enter the world of work, are more satisfied with their job for a number of reasons. So they're more likely to have better work conditions, better hours, holidays, more interesting work, potential for growth, chances of promotion, ability to make decisions more often, and better job security, better work balance, and better relationship with management. So that's another piece of research about the benefits of going to university. But it's not just about earnings or jobs or careers. There are other benefits as well to going to university. Another benefit of university is the independence you gain. Quite often people will move away from home to go to university, and you're suddenly responsible for your own time, your own workload, your own money. And actually this is a real advantage. It's a kind of safer step rather than just moving out straight away and going into the world of work. It's more supported. There are systems to help you out and adjust. And you just have to learn to look after and grow up and look after yourself, which is a big advantage. Another big part of university is your social life, so making friends and getting involved with activities outside of your subject or your studies. A university students' union will be there to help with all of this, so they're a central organisation run by students and will run events, activities and trips, and also manage all of the student groups, also known as societies. So these could be societies for students studying a particular subject, so for example biological sciences subjects or economics, as you can see. It may also be things like student media or performing arts societies. So we've got a radio station at Royal Holloway, we've got a band society, musical theatre society. It may be political or interest groups or societies for students from a particular background, or sort of miscellaneous. There really is a group or social club for everyone. So you can see here there's Humans versus Zombies, Book Your Brains Out, Hiking Society, Travel Society. And it is a real advantage of going to university to meet like-minded people that you might not otherwise get to meet and hang out with and do activities that you are interested in. Sports are also a big part of university, so got a selection of all of our sports teams on the sides. So it's an opportunity to try something new or develop sort of sporty skills that you've already done before. But it's another part of university life. And as you can see, this is our varsity video in the middle here. And something to note about getting involved with things outside of your studies is quite often they can lead to careers outside of that degree subject that you're studying. So university offers things like student media, like I mentioned, societies and sports club, and also part-time work. And all of those things have the potential to lead on to future opportunities. So I was a student ambassador when I was at university, and that led to the job I'm doing now, because I didn't even know that the job I do existed before I had the opportunity to be a student ambassador, and the knowledge and skills I gained from being a student ambassador actually assisted me in being able to apply for this job and get this job. A big part of university is fun. So it's maybe not the only reason you should go to university, but it is an important part of university, gaining new experiences, having fun, meeting people, and doing things outside of your studies. An important thing to remember is that the vast majority of students don't regret going to university. So the National Student Survey is an annual survey of student experiences. People will say how they felt about the degree that they're doing, whether they'd recommend it, how do they find the teaching and various elements of the course that they studied, what was the university like. And this is a really useful metric when you're looking at courses, universities, and making your decisions, because it's really gives a picture of how students have found their course. So we've got here from the most recent NSS 2020, 83% of all students agreed with the statement that overall they're satisfied with the quality of the course. And what that shows you is that even though a lot of students are now going to university, the vast majority of them are really happy with their course, and that would indicate that they don't regret going to university. And like I said, you can get this per HEI or per provider, so you can look this up. It's all available online. Royal Holloway, for instance, for the same question, had 87% of our students agree with that statement. So what kind of conclusions can we draw from all this? Well, what I would say is that everyone who is interested in going to university should consider it. The press is sometimes negative about the value of a degree, but consider the positive effects. So things like job prospects, graduate wages, independence, networking ability, transferable skills, job satisfaction, studying something you're interested in, 3 or more years of fun and new experiences. And like I said, the vast majority of students are satisfied with their degree and don't regret going to university. So we'll finish up with a game of true or false. So true or false, graduates can expect to live around 8 years longer than those with lower levels of education. That is true. Graduates are more likely to get married. That's false. Graduates are between 70 to 80% more likely to report excellent health. That's true. Graduates are more likely to vote. That's true. Graduates are more likely to have pets. That is false. That brings me to the end of the video. Thank you very much for listening. I've got our social media handles on the left hand side. I've also linked some other videos you may be interested in, and as I said, all of these links and information can be found in the description of this video. Thank you very much for listening, and good luck with your university application if you do decide to go to university.